There we go. Okay. We'll start with the prayer. I'll go ahead and say that if that's okay.
Okay.
Real quick. Dear Father in heaven, we're so grateful for this opportunity we have to meet as a group in this organizational effectiveness class and specifically talk about gratitude and the effect that it has not only on ourselves but on the workplace and the professional environment. And please help our discussion to be led by the Spirit today, and that we will gain new insights from each other and be able to build each other up here. And we're so grateful for the opportunity to be students here and to be able to learn by the Spirit. And we're grateful for all the many blessings that us give us. We say these things in the name of Jesus Christ. Amen.
Amen.
Alrighty. Well, me and Aaron were talking, and we were saying this is probably going to be the quickest, simplest group discussion that we've had so far, and we're both okay with that. So go ahead and get going. So the first set of questions here is, so what did it feel like to extend your gratitude to those three people that you thanked this week? I felt good. Yeah, got a thumbs up there.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. It was weird putting it down on paper, I guess, because that's not who I am. And so giving that to somebody was kind of awkward. But, you know, the other two, I chose my daughters who are serving missions, so I won't know what their reaction is until Monday.
Yeah, so, okay. That's a good idea, though. That's good.
Yeah. It got me out of having to buy them anything, so.
I was a little confused whether to. So one of them was my fiance, and I was confused whether or not to say that it was for a class or just. I was just out of the kindness of my heart, and I didn't. It wasn't for a class, just between you and me.
Yeah, so, well, you never divulge that. Come on. It's always because you're just a thoughtful guy, Elliot.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. No ulterior motives there. I got her Ben and Jerry's, so that was great for me too. So.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
I only did one of mine so far, one person, so I've yet to do the other two.
Okay.
I think I'm just going to send them an email because the letter was pretty awkward, like you guys said. So.
Yeah, I think that's just like the weirdest thing. Just like writing everything down. You're just like, I don't want to write too much, but not too little. It's weird.
Then you just hand it to them and you're like, just go ahead and read this later.
It's like high school, stick in their locker and run. So.
Well, kind of moving this into like a more practical context. So what is the role of gratitude in organizations, like from the reading and everything? What kind of effect does gratitude have on the effectiveness of an organization?
I kind of like that one article that said it, talking about foster a culture of gratitude, because that's something you don't find very often in the workplace.
Yeah.
But, I think like she talked about, remember the Titans scene, as they kind of came together. I think that's very true. If you can, like I say, you don't have to like everybody. You just have to respect everybody. And I think that helps out tremendously in building teams in an organization.
Right. I don't think that's something you'd usually associate with like a professional environment, like gratitude. That's just, it seems kind of out of place, but at the same time, it makes a lot of sense to want to include it.
I mean, when we really think about it, does it make a lot of sense? I mean, I think it does, really. So I'm just questioning the statement. Why do we think it doesn't belong in a company, in a professional environment?
I think if you get outside of like our culture, being the LDS culture, I don't think it's as prevalent. Like I've grown up around it most of my life or whatever, at least my professional environment. I've lived in Utah my entire life. So I think there's always that culture of generosity and being grateful. But, talking to my brother who lives in Texas, who does sales as well, it's a, the guy next to you will stab you in the back just to get ahead. And so, I think a lot of it has to do with, I think, who we are as a people and the culture that we live in. But I don't know. That's just my thought.
I think like the image, probably a lot more outside of the church setting is that oh, my headphones just died. Can you guys still hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. That it's like cutthroat and there's no emotion involved, and it's just kind of like Aaron was saying, you wouldn't hesitate to stab somebody else in the back.
I guess outside of Salesforce environment, why do we think, gratitude is a part of the equation, I guess? I mean, I think it's probably a big part of any team environment. So long as they view themselves as a team, I guess maybe that's the key there. It's a team effort, not an individual.
Yeah, I think that's key, is trying to get people to, view it as one, sum, instead of, like you said, everyone being an individual contributor. Because it's not fun working in that environment where you feel like you're on an island. Because it's tough.
Yeah, I work at a call center now, and we have like supervisors in our team. And I've had a couple supervisors now, and I've noticed that the supervisors that have the most like the better results from our team are the ones that are really inclusive of everybody, and like he's like grateful and shows like love and respect for everybody on the team.
That's a good point.
I like that. Then that same, what was it?
Foster culture of gratitude.
Yeah, that one. How she talks about, helps other develops, and I've always, liked that statement that a good leader, hires his replacement or trains his replacement or whatever. I think, if that's part of the equation, your leaders trying to make you a better person, develop you, and promote you, then there's not that kind of attitude of, I don't know, being better than you or whatever. And I think that helps, the teamwork environment as well.
So that kind of leads into the next one. What kind of barriers are set up, either like in our own perception or in the culture of a team environment? What barriers are there to expressing gratitude? I think one of them easily is just your pride and self-centeredness in that team.
The cultural mores, to me, are kind of what sets it apart. Like, I don't know. Here in Idaho, it's pretty common to express gratitude, but I'd imagine that maybe somewhere else it's maybe less common. I don't know. So.
Yeah, it for sure is, I think.
Like, I've heard some horror stories of Europe of rudeness and whatever else, so I guess it'd be a struggle there to express gratitude without people looking at you funny.
It is, I find it interesting, working for a national company, obviously, we go to these sales meetings or, even region meetings and things like that. And our team is full of friends. And again, I think it kind of goes back to the culture, but we're always the top performing sales team, usually in the country, in our little market. But I think it's because we kind of, have that caring attitude about us, and we all want to see each other succeed, and so we all help each other. And we get comments on it all the time that our team's close knit and whatever the case may be. And there's still some people that I want to punch in the face sometimes when I see them, but I still respect them, I guess. And so, I think that has a big thing, as I kind of look back on, the teams that I've been on.
So yeah, how are those barriers overcome? Like, I mean, we keep going back to this, but Aaron's rapping story, I think it's overcome by just extending yourself out of your zone of comfort, and whether it's not the cultural norm, or whether it's out of your personal norm of just looking inward, it takes a little bit of stretching and a little bit of discomfort to do that, is what I would think. But do you guys have any other input? So how to overcome that barrier?
I mean, for me, I think about everything as action potential. Either you get it and then you execute it, and then you're committed to it and you have to do it, or you don't get it and then you're just thinking about it the whole time and then you don't do it. So it's a matter of just doing it, and exactly like you said, just getting out of your comfort zone.
Right. Nice. That's a good point. Very matter of fact.
Yeah, we got to forget about that rapping thing.
Well, we won't.
Yeah, that pretty much covered it. Anybody else have any other thoughts on that?
No.
Alrighty. Well, so for this kind of the second half of the discussion, we're just supposed to go over our thoughts on each of these talks here. And I think we can just, rather than just going over each one by one, how about we just like bring up thoughts that we had and point out which piece it's from and then what your thought was. And let's just make sure we cover each one. If that sounds good. So we can move it along. So we've already talked a lot about the fostering the culture of gratitude. Do you guys have thoughts about the other two, or any thoughts? Let's open it up.
All right, I'm going to be honest with you guys. I can't remember any of these at all. I've read them before in previous classes, and I just kind of skimmed through it. So as you guys talk, I'll maybe think of something.
I really like to talk by Elder Thomas's President Monson. It was the divine gift of gratitude one. I have it up. It says, gratitude is a divine principle the Lord declared through a revelation given to the prophet Joseph Smith. Thou shalt thank the Lord thy God in all things. And I just really liked it because it was like really simple. It was just like, you're gonna be grateful for everything. And it's just like how like it's really simple for us to like be grateful for everything that we have. I just really liked how easy he made it, I guess.
Yeah, something else he said that I got right here is kind of the flip side of that. And the quote that he brings up from an English author is that most human beings have an almost infinite capacity for taking things for granted. I think that's very true at the same time. And I've seen that myself. Like it's pretty easy to take things for granted at the same time. It's just kind of your mindset and what you're focusing on.
Yeah, I like that gratitude at work. The article down at the bottom, it kind of talked about how do you nurture gratefulness, and kind of walk through the 4 steps, and you're supposed to identify your non-grateful thoughts, and then formulate a grateful thought, and then substitute it basically, and that's something that I can definitely do better because I don't know, I think I'm a pessimistic person by nature, and so. I think a lot of times I have those ungrateful thoughts, why not me, or whatever the case may be. And I think, that would help my mindset if I just substitute all those, non-grateful things with grateful things. So I kind of like those 4 steps that he brought up. The last thing was, act on it, which, Dylan kind of talked about, but I think that's one of the biggest things to being grateful is acting upon that gratefulness.
Then it's out in the world, and then you see the results of that, and then you be even more grateful. So
yeah.
I think from that fostering gratitude little thing, something that really stood out to me was that study. So the study of over 1,700 employees conducted in 2012 said that more than half of all employees intend to search for new jobs because they feel underappreciated and undervalued. So I think that just paints a really powerful picture that like ungratitude for each other in the workplace and in general has a huge effect on people's willingness to work together and people's effectiveness within the workplace. That just really stuck out to me. Over half the people felt that way.
I mean, yeah, that's why I quit my job. So,
Oh, really?
yeah.
There you go.
Well, I'm trying to think of anything else, but my brain's used up for the day.
Maybe we can just call that good. I had a quick question for Aaron. So we
Yeah.
talked, I don't know if it was last week or the week before, about like your boss, supervisor, who kind of has trouble with your like associates.
Yeah.
Do you think some of that stems from him not being super grateful for like the effort they're putting in already and just kind of demanding more and kind of micromanaging, or is that just off base kind of?
I think it just comes from his insecurities as a leader almost, or his inability to lead. I don't know if you've ever read that Kim Clark, The Leadership with the Little L. I think they make everyone kind of read that here. But, he's kind of the uppercase L. He likes to dictate and he's very authoritative on how he wants things done. And I think that's his downfall. He doesn't know how to lead, with the little L like they talk about. And so, I don't know. I mean, he's made it to President's Club like 8 straight years because of our team. That's 8 free trips on the company that he keeps winning. So at some point you'd think he'd loosen up a little and realize that we're professionals, but he struggles with that. I don't know why. We talk about it all the time as a team, and no one can really pinpoint what it is that is causing him to be that way.
Have you pointed it out to him?
Oh yeah, so we have what's called skip level meetings. So it's our opportunity to tell on him more or less to his boss. Not really to tell on him, but to really talk about struggles. And we've mentioned it, and he gets that feedback all the time, and still nothing changes. And I just think it's his inability to change, probably. I wish, but I don't know. Like I said, it doesn't bother me too much because I'm on his good side and
Right, that's right.
well. But yeah, I feel bad for those good people that he comes down on. So it's tough. I'm surprised they haven't started looking for other jobs too. Because if I were in their position, I probably would.
But you're sitting pretty there.
Oh yeah. As I sitting here in my hat, this is how I worked all day. So
That's awesome.
anyway,
Well, that's interesting.
yeah.
All right. Well, that's all we got here. Yeah, I really like this topic. I mean, it wasn't what I was expecting out of a organizational effectiveness class, but it kind of opened my eyes to kind of how gospel principles can really affect your professional and secular life as well. And I thought that was really cool. Does anybody have any more thoughts before we just wrap up real quick? Or
Thought on this class in general. I think like the more you bring these groups and these companies onto the human level, the more it makes sense to me. Like, we're humans. We're supposed to be grateful to each other. It makes sense to me that an organization is more effective when they're more grateful, and whatever else we're studying. It just brings a human element into these corporate organizations that we discuss. So.
Yeah, I think more corporations should incorporate trainings like this. I think it'd be good to, expose employees to this type of thinking.
yeah, like you guys are saying, outside of the Mormon culture, this is such a kind of a foreign principle, but I feel like it'll give positive effects no matter what religion or what background you are.
Mhm.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, sure.
That's all
That's
I
all
got.
I've got.
Oh,
Yeah, and I got next week, lesson 8.
oh, that's you. Okay, sweet. Well, awesome.
Cool.
25 minutes, not bad.
I'll take it.
Yeah, I'm grateful for that.
See, we learned a lesson.
Yeah, there you go.
I'm not taking that for granted. So yeah, we'll just meet up next week.
Okay.
You'll send out the link.
Yep.
Be great.
Okay. Thanks, guys.
Guys,
See you.
appreciate it. Another great
See you
week.
later. All right, you too.